Now we're on part 2 of today's shoot, where we're going to work on Joy's feet. I immediately went into these muscles around her tibia and fibula just to see what was going on there. She was having more problems on this left side, so I'm going to support her foot and then come in where I can easily apply pressure with a broad forearm to the plantar surface. I remember what we did in the previous shoot to this outer portion. I'm going to get into that briefly, but I'm going to soften some of this up first and use the body position we're in to my advantage, because I can come in and deliver pressure to this underside very easily with a forearm or an elbow. If you had to, you could do this on a mat on the ground, essentially the same thing. You'd have to change your position slightly. And I'm always inviting therapists to work from a different angle to be able to go in and apply pressure. And since I cannot see Joy's face from this angle, I will tell her verbally that she can just tell me if it's too much pressure. Right in there. Now, this is more to the bottom of the foot, but I was wondering if this was having an issue. It's easier for me to apply compressive force from this angle because I can just sink in. Before it was more like I could mobilize. I felt like a slight shift, like Joy flinched for just a second. How's the pressure there? Okay. I think this is starting to compress an area that we were mobilizing and lengthening in the prior video. Going through. Seeing if I can get some of this to release. I'm going to take my pressure that way and then back. And find out if she likes 1 or 2. She likes 2. And then I'm going to go this direction and back. So you like 1 or 2? She likes 2. She wants compression with a little bit of length. Sinking in right there. And then slowly I feel like she's drawing me back into that same spot we were working in the previous video. I'm going to come into the opposite side around the big toe. This surface in here. And I'm going to use the big broad tool. Oh, she got a kick. She's trying to run away. Going to support there. Good pressure. There we go. Now I'm going to use the underside, this hand, to move the foot into my forearm. I'm assuming she probably likes about there. The reason I know that is just from practice. Sometimes people will ask me, how do I know how much pressure to deliver? And what I tell people is I'm, at this point, a butcher. I press on flesh all day long. I know what a good steak feels like. I know what the marbling is supposed to be. I know how it responds to pressure. The same thing happens with living folks I'm working on. I can tell when tissue starts to tighten up and I need to back off. You develop proprioceptive sensitivity, touch sensitivity over time. She gave me a nice little groan right there. And slowly I hang out. I think she wants some length. I'm going to give her some direction towards the toes. And she gave me another groan, which means hang out right there. Then slowly back off. I'm wrapped around the foot again. She wanted to stretch. I can actually facilitate that. Give her a little length. And then over on this side. Now I know that I can easily deliver too much force here. I'm going to support her foot however feels best to me. See if I can find a good angle. I think about there. And then come in to the side. Using this hand to support. How's that in there? Okay. If you had to choose, does my arm go more this way or number 2? Right there. Then again, that way or 1 or number 2. And again, she wants that little bit of length. Too much? Okay. Now this guy just supports. It just allows me some compressive force because it's resisting against the pressure that's being delivered with my forearm. I can slowly roll the forearm one way or the other. She probably enjoys that more. How's that roll feel? Okay. Now I'm going to embrace that and lift and move, lift and move, lift and move with feeling. If I need to change the hand position, I can. Lift and move. Yes. She's giving me that little bit of groan that I'm looking for. I actually like it sometimes when my clients are auditory that way because it helps me know how much pressure to deliver what feels good. Some people are nervous about making noise when a massage therapist works on them. But typically, I prefer it. Right through there. Gonna get a good hook. I think right there. Yeah. The reason I knew that is because the tissue was more dense. I could feel the resistance as I was moving through. I could feel that it was tissue, not bone. It was muscle. It was connective tissue. It wasn't a bony structure. And then it was not pliable. There was something about it where it was resisting movement. So I'm hanging out in that spot and then doing a slow traction down towards the toes. Maybe almost imperceptible on the camera, but I guarantee she can feel it. And I'm going to come back up again, a little bit higher this time, and grab. Yep, she gave me the groany right there, hanging out. I'm very fortunate that my work essentially allows me to do yoga and meditate for hours at a time because I get a chance to work on my own posture and work on my breathing. So while I'm delivering pressure to the receiver, to a client, my sessions these days are 3.5 hours long. So I get a chance to breathe and move that entire time and to increase physical awareness in my own body. But it feels good, and it's an honor to be able to work with people to help them feel more embodied, calm, safe, nurtured, and delivering copious amounts of therapeutic touch. Now I'm sliding. I'm actually forcing my forearm down just to slide across the plantar surface to transition out. I'm going to go out towards the heel here on the outside. Yeah, she started kicking on me. It's tender. And again, bone. So there's not a lot of movement here. Some of this can be inordinately tight. Just moving around. With her, it was this little bit of junction between the heel and these outer tarsal bones that was causing some problem. I'm gonna lean my body weight up and see if I can grab these knuckles. Long, slow slide across the plantar surface of the foot, taking my time, feeling my way along. And she's still giving me the good groan, so I think we're good. I'm stacking my shoulder above my hand so that I can lean in. I'm unlike most massage therapists in that I don't like to work for a living. If I could figure out the absolute easiest way to accomplish a task, that's how I choose to do it. Sometimes in my formal classes, massage therapists will tell me they don't feel like they're working hard enough because I'm showing them a much more advanced way of doing something that's particularly easy. It's so little strain on their own bodies that they're almost confused by it. But I get very good results and have high quality client care that people respond to. Joy at this moment is just happy that she has figured out how to get my work for free. Aha, yes. It's like free food, doesn't it always taste better? Right along here. Now, I'm sculpting this hand around the foot in that area she was having a problem with. I'm slowly gliding along. I'm actually looking up towards her face. Her head is to the side so I can see if she's going to lift her eyebrow. Right through there. We've worked a lot on this left foot again. And just like before, I'm going to give some attention to the right side just because I don't want it to get jealous of the left. And I come over. Again, plantar surface of the foot. I can give her a little length through the calves. Always using my body in a way that feels comfortable and ergonomic. I'm going to stack my body weight. There we go. So my shoulder is above my elbow. The higher up the shoulder goes, the deeper the pressure will be as I lean in. But I think that's probably giving her enough pressure right there. And hanging out in that compression, moving down the foot. This foot feels completely different to me. Feels much more pliable and open than the left foot, particularly on that outside portion. The tissue expands and moves. Feel my way around. Now see, this pressure I can almost guarantee you if I went to the opposite foot, she might not be able to take this. But I can do this easily because she's not having any issues here. For some reason, she's having more tightness on that side. Some rogue polish there. And through the bottoms of the feet, I'm going to stack. And instead of standing this time, I'm going to do it from a seated position. I'm going to slide down and through. That's a little bit more work on my hand and arm, so I am going to stand and stack. Right through the feet. Slowly gliding through, using the knuckles. She had a strong response to this earlier, so I'm going to go just above. Checking out this stuff, and then into the lower leg. She's getting ready to run away. So which side? This side's more tender? Over here? Okay. Okay. A little ticklish as well. So I'm gonna hold both. What I'm checking is outside along her fibula here. So I'm gonna find a spot with a flat thumb, and then both sides I'm pulling and tractioning. That's 1. That's 2. Which do you like better? 2, okay. I'm gonna hang out right there. She felt a little bit ticklish. That's gonna go away slowly as I maintain contact. So I'm grabbing right along this outside where my thumb is. And are you still having more issues on the left side? Okay. I'm gonna switch tools because she's getting some activity here. I'm gonna hook my entire palm along this outside, and again, I'm gonna pull, which is 1 or 2. Okay, then I'm gonna slide in and 2. Which one? Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of go in between. She couldn't choose one, so I'm gonna go in the middle. I'm gonna hang out right there. Now I'm actually gonna hold this for a second, and then I'm gonna slowly start to slide. This is almost imperceptibly slow. I'm sliding up this surface, and it's because she was having a problem with this foot. I'm trying to see if these muscles that wrap over the ankle joint are having some effect of what's going on in the foot there. Very slow, wrapping the bones of my hand right around the fibula, sliding up. I've used this hand for a little bit of resistance. Getting some light groans. She wants more work here. There's a reason my sessions are 3 hours long, and people walk out and sometimes feel like they're levitating right through there. And I'm gonna speed up as I go up the leg. And I also soften the pressure slightly. But this outer portion. So if I change my body position, I'm gonna come in from the outside. I'm grabbing just about in there. And then at the same time, I'm gonna press through the foot here. In my head, I'm just forming a connection between these two things. And that's the sort of intuitive sense I get. I'm not exactly certain why, but I don't worry about it too much. That's where at the end of the session, I can go grab the anatomy book and take a look.
It's almost like you're pressing on one spot.
Yes. And there's a little bit of slide. Both are going up. Just working my way around, feeling my way through, going with Joy's responses. I'm grabbing the muscle and rolling it around from this outside. Just like I would grab there. And see, she finds it tender on this side. Everything that I've done on this left, I can do on the right, but it doesn't feel quite as maybe sharp. It doesn't feel quite as stingy because she's not having as many issues with the tissue on this side. Now, I'm gonna hook a couple of fingers on the outside here and then slide the foot the opposite direction at the same time. Too sharp? Okay. These fingers too sharp? Okay. So I'm going to move back to the hand. And in this time, instead of using this big groove, I'm actually going to go towards the thenar eminence. I'm actually going to see if I can massage my thumb pad here while I work on her. So I'm going to hook right there. Too much? Okay. And then slowly I'm sliding up towards her knee, while this finger goes in the opposite direction. Too much? Okay. What about there? There we go. Always shift depending on what the person can take, depending on what they want to do. depending on what their body tells them. Always communicating with the receiver. Then I'm just holding for support, sliding up the leg. When we talk about footwork, most people don't think lower leg, but I am working on a whole person. If someone had really bad neck pain and I just found that I could not go in and work on their neck, I could literally spend 45 minutes or an hour working on their feet and then ask them how their neck feels, and they'll say it feels great. Long term, you're working on a person and you're working on their nervous system. If their nervous system downregulates, stops sending signals to muscles to contract, if their endorphins are spiked, they feel better. That's really what we're working towards. And that builds up in a cumulative way in the same way that stress does. Sliding up. And then I take a second. I'm gonna do the same on this opposite side, just so she gets a chance to compare. What's the difference? Feels like a completely different leg, right? Yeah. But just giving her some feedback there. There's some stuff in here I'd spend more time working on, probably through tibialis anterior. She got a little jump when I frogged her there. Sliding along. The outside of the leg. I'm gonna reach in, just like before. These little posterior portions. Tons of little nooks and crannies around the feet. She gave me a little moan from this big, broad roll. You'll notice again that I've used no cream or glide. This is more typical of how I work. I'm not opposed to using cream, but sometimes I can't really get a grip because I feel like it's a slip and slide all of a sudden. It's like I can't grip onto anything in the same way. Work like this to me feels a bit more deeper and I think in some ways more therapeutic, but you be the judge. Most of what we've done you could easily do with cream. You can use coconut oil. I really like shea butter, unrefined raw shea butter as well. So when I did that, too sharp out here, on the outside, it just grabbed a little bit. Okay. And right around her heel. Feeling my way around. Wasn't even using the point, a little bit of this knuckle here. Just rolling through both sides. She has a totally different response on this side now. I think that's opened up a great deal. I'm gonna go into this part along the big toe again. She gave me a little jump, right? Because it's sharp right in there. And I'm gonna see if I can stack, if I can hook these fingers in. How's that there? Too sharp? Okay. Now I've got these three fingers in. I'm gonna use these to reinforce. How's that? And again, all I'm doing is trying to shrink wrap my tissues around my skeletal structure to deliver pressure. If I did it just like this, my fingers will get tired, but if I'm using the second hand, I'm wrapping in a way that allows me to deliver pressure. Now I'm gonna hold here and then, let's see what happens if we move the big toe. Because now we're lengthening and pulling. It's a pin and stretch using the big toe here. You tell me. Too much? I'm gonna shift my position just a little bit to there. She almost gave me a little jump. How's that there? Okay. Too much? There we go. I backed off just a hair. Now, pin and stretch. Pin and lengthen. And if I hold, can't quite get a slide through these fingers, but I'm going to hold the mobilizer the other way. And same out here. I'm going to use these two fingers this time. Feels completely different to me. There's still just as much maybe muscular development, but this doesn't feel as tight as the other side did. You can see that the big toe starts to move. I'm going to grip right there and then slowly. Feels different, right? Yeah. This side good, this side beef jerky. Everybody's been laughing at my beef jerky references lately. It feels like the tissue becomes desiccated, dry, not as malleable and flexible. That's why I make that joke. It's not to criticize the person I'm working on, by the way. I'm always cautious about what I say about people's bodies because I don't want to make them feel bad about their bodies. I have a very compassionate sense of people's bodies and the changes that happen to them over time. And right in there, just like I was doing. See, she got a little jump again, but it might have been just a little bit of ticklish, right? No, just sharp. So I'm going to reinforce these two fingers and just slide along. Oh, that was too sharp. Okay. Got a foot cramp? So, big, broad, flat knuckles. Sliding along. She gave me a little jerk again. Just going to go slow, broad, taking my time, gliding through. She liked this distal pressure where I was going down towards the toes, gave it some length, so I'm going to embrace that, allow it to come down. These big, broad, flat knuckles are sliding along. Long over and out. She started to run away. Yep. Too much?
Yeah, it's just like so sharp right
Okay.
in that area.
So give me a second just to mobilize. Is that better? Okay. Want to give you some movement? That better?
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I almost lean towards giving a little bit too much pressure out of fear of giving too little and not doing good work. When the person responds that way, I just back off, apologize, explain to them that I'm not trying to hurt them. We just found one specific spot that was really sharp, so I'm going to mobilize around it instead of to just compress. And then just like before, she liked this movement, so I'm going to see how this feels now from the other side. How's that? Does it feel good? All right. And when I go that way as well, same? Or just a different stretch? Okay. I'm going to hook with this hand and slide. Just want to see how she responds to that movement. Okay. And she liked that. She gave me that good groan, which is basically payback for the pain I put her through earlier. Because long term, you want stuff to feel good. My work can feel intense, but it's not supposed to be painful. The challenge is intensity and pain are cities that are right next to each other. They're the Twin Cities. Right there. Sliding along. Gonna grab and slide. It's not nearly as sharp. She's let go, I can tell. I'm gonna slide again. Out and over. right in there. She gave me a good response, all the way verbal, yes, in there. So I'm gonna hang out for several more strokes, slow and deep, right through that area. Always increasing feel and increasing communication. Even when you go to massage school and you learn set routines, the work gets more interesting when you go off-road. It gets more interesting when you get lost in what you're doing and finding the minutia. In a stroke, in some tissue, working through it slowly. Down, a little closer towards this part of the foot. Sliding along, wrapped around the other hand to give some pressure. And again, we've worked this foot. So I'm going to switch to the other side just to give it something a little bit comparable. As I'm sliding through the foot here, just to balance out this side. Getting ready to finish up. Just making sure the right foot doesn't feel neglected in comparison. And then both feet, same time, that little bit of broad pressure. Just gonna slide out for several strokes. Out and over the feet. All right. Thank you, Joy, for working with me. Thank you for watching our videos here on Psychetruth. We're going to have more videos showing you how to work on people and hopefully that you find relaxing and enjoyable at home.